Well, welcome everybody to a class day that we couldn't have imagined 3 months ago. And we were so excited this year to be doing it here in the new theater for the first time. And 38 wonderful eighth graders would be right over here to my left. There's no one here. But we are going to do class day, and we're going to read the statements we call the blurbs on each and every eighth grader and what makes them special, what makes them unique, just as if they were here. I might even look at them at times. And there's usually a few stories, maybe a few ad libs. This is one of my favorite days of the year, honoring the eighth graders in a way each and every one of them deserves to be honored. And so we're going to start with Lachlan Apple. Lachlan Apple joined the class of 2020 mid-year in 7th grade and definitely made his mark in many ways. A self-professed chatterbox, Lachlan's propensity for off-the-cuff remarks was soon a fixture in many of his classes, and his classmates voted him most talkative, not surprisingly. But Lachlan also possesses an incredible ability to harness this loquaciousness and use it to his and the audience's advantage. Before Lachlan had spent his first official day as a wyvern in December of 2018, he auditioned for our spring musical, The Sound of Music, and earned the role of Captain Von Trapp's friend, the mooching huckster promoter, Max Detweiler. And there may have been just a little typecasting involved there. And Lachlan played the role with such smarmy panache that he earned a National Youth Arts nomination for supporting actor in his first stage role here. His follow-up this year in our fall play couldn't have been more diametrically opposed, as he took on the iconic role of the omniscient stage manager in Thornton Wilder's timeless classic of the American theater, Our Town. This is a very demanding role that involves being on stage nearly the entire show, speaking directly to the audience, and begins with a 4-page monologue. While this role is considered difficult for any actor, Lachlan delivered it with a combination of wit, sensitivity, and gravitas that belied his young age. I would not be surprised if the NYAs don't come knocking again this summer. And unfortunately, his last role, another lead, as the maniacally and dastardly Ivan Plestikov in Tsarist Russia, and the government inspector was cut short by the COVID-19 pandemic. We only hope we will get to see this tour de force performance in the not-too-distant future. This combination of dedication and talent earned Lachlan an Ed Gupton Drama Award, and he remarked in a reflective moment that he felt very welcomed into our drama program here. Lachlan also enjoyed his time at Big South Fork immensely in his capstone project titled, What Makes Something Funny? This is a bit of a holy grail for Lachlan and his alter ego, Guy Fieri, and he will certainly fulfill this quest, and no doubt talk about it and hopefully share it with us on stage too. Amy Bagley. Unfortunately for us, we were only graced with Amy Bagley's ethereal presence for 1 year. But in that year, we were treated to spend time with a young lady who marches to her own drummer and marching band. The expression old soul gets used ubiquitously these days to describe people who seem to have come from a bygone era, and it fits Amy emphatically. Her answers to the class day blurb questions illustrate this point quite well. When asked, "Where do you think you'll be in 20 years?" Amy replied, "I'd like to live somewhere in Colorado and be a professor of either ethics, psychology, or metaphysics. I'm going to have at least 2 cats and wake up no earlier than 7, and good luck with that, excluding stuff like going on an airplane. I'll have a library that takes up most of my house and read at least 1 book of my choosing every week. I'd also like to be on a TED Talk, but I don't know how I'm going to make that happen." Believe me, this is definitely the reply of an outlier. And her capstone project was a heady look at the dichotomy between the concepts of good and evil. But Amy also possesses a delicious sense of humor that goes beyond dry. When asked to describe a memorable athletic moment at St. Francis, she said, "I survived. I think that counts." "Did you win any athletic awards?" "Of course not. You do know me, right?" But in addition to her candidly refreshing personality, Amy is full of talents. She joined our stage crew for Our Town in the fall and then jumped on stage for the government inspector, playing a delightfully eccentric postmaster. And Amy quickly distinguished herself in art class early in the year from Mr. Taylor. Amy is a talented artist whose impressive skill complements her imagination perfectly. She embraces each assignment with gusto and patience, always doing her best. He was pleased to award her a Her Art Award on class day as a result. And in addition to her proclivity for humanities, Amy is also a consummate scholar. Her academic performance in her 1 year here was at an apex level and earned her a berth in the top 3 students to win a Casey Academic Award too. Amy leaves us wishing we could turn the clock back for more time with her, but she is off as the Sapinko Humanities Scholar to our high school, where she will no doubt sparkle, pontificate, create laughter, and continue to age that old soul like an exquisite heirloom. Mia Barbercheck. Hans Christian Andersen is renowned for his tale of the ugly duckling, in which a sad little bird is tormented by his peers until one day he sees his reflection in a pond and realizes he's matured into a beautiful and graceful swan. That famous parable parallels Mia Barbercheck's evolution at St. Francis, except for one key part: she was never an ugly duckling. But she has certainly evolved before our eyes into a resplendent and confident young woman. A wyvern since kindergarten, Mia has flourished at St. Francis and in numerous ways. And much the same way Mia has blossomed as a person, so has she grown on our stage over many years. She's performed in 6 of our main productions, earning larger parts as she matured, which culminated with 2 very disparate lead roles in 8th grade. First, she was the caring and world-weary mother of Emily Webb in this fall's Our Town, complete with convincing tears. And then the tables were turned, as Mia had to become a sullen and snarky Russian teen in The Government Inspector in the spring. Several times during rehearsal, she was stone-faced, and I would say, "Mia, are you not having fun?" And she would reply, "I'm in character." Touché. For being so dependable and indispensable to our drama program, Mia won an Ed Gupton Drama Award on class day. But what strikes one most about Mia is the combination of her character and poise. In her own words, "I view myself as a very empathetic and caring person. I hope that my career path can positively impact others' lives. I hope to one day become a counselor or psychologist so that I can help those with difficult lives daily." That's a pretty self-actualized career goal for someone not even in high school, and speaks to what lies within Mia. For these reasons, Mia was also honored with the Spirit of St. Francis Award by the faculty. And she also leaves us as our student council president, who has been a steady and positive influence on the middle school all year long. We all wait for her daily dismissal at morning meetings to see what pun she'll come up with, capped off by "Y'all are dismissed" in her southern drawl. Well, Mia, today is National Situational Awareness Day, really. And the situation is simply that our beautiful and spirited swan is gliding off into the future, and we are all watching in adoration and beaming with pride. Frey Blandford. Thoughtful, determined, hardworking, and always unfailingly kind, Frey Blandford has definitely made her mark on St. Francis over the past 4 years. This Eagle Award winner, whose work ethic and perseverance are unmatched, epitomizes our core values. First, the value of individuality. In both quality and character, Frey has distinguished herself. A standout athlete who not only ran track for 2 years, but played basketball and field hockey throughout middle school, Frey won multiple athletic awards for her efforts, including the Mason Award. Self-described as feisty, strong, and funny, Frey is always an individual and was even voted most well-rounded by her peers. Her motto of "stay focused, have fun, and to just be you" speaks to her spirit and originality perfectly. Second, the values of inclusivity and community. Whether it is working towards a common goal with her teammates, participating in the We Act Club to serve those in need, or volunteering at Norton Children's Hospital, Frey works tirelessly to live the values of inclusivity and community. Frey wants to impact the world around her, and her sense of community and activism are simply extensions of who she is, a compassionate young woman with a heart for service. Next, the values of thought, openness, and expression. A published author who penned both The Truth Untold and Zuzan for the NaNoWriMo project, Frey is a thoughtful, reflective student who's always looking to challenge herself. This self-described hard worker believes that rising to challenges is part of what defines and distinguishes her. Finally, the value of curiosity. As evidenced in her capstone on the experiences of young female athletes, Frey seeks to understand others to forge connections. Her inquisitive nature reflects her curiosity about the people and world around her. This aspiring WNBA basketball player says that while she will miss seeing her friends daily, she will always cherish her memories of St. Francis and will carry our values with her into the future. As Michelle Obama once said, the only limit to the height of your achievement is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them. Frey, we know that with your work ethic, passion, and determination, your success in the future will be boundless. Arden Bleifer. Arden Bleifer came to St. Francis as a sixth grader, and in that time was an excellent student, musician, and friend who carries with her many great memories of her time on the Goshen campus. As a student, Arden can always be counted on to give a great effort, whether it was finishing her NaNoWriMo book, Beyond the Barriers, reading books like One, a gripping tale about Siamese twins, or her thorough work on her capstone project on the topic of food additives. Arden, in her own words, has never been one to eat a lot of junk food, and I avoid a lot of artificial things in food, but I really wanted to learn more about these ingredients and see if they were as bad as I thought they were. But it isn't just in the classroom where Arden excelled. She also carries fond memories of class trips to Weeday, Pine Mountain, and Big South Fork. And although Arden is, in her own words, not much of a sporty person, she still fully participated and thrived in many extracurricular activities. Arden is a fantastic saxophonist, and she was a standout member of the jazz band since her arrival. In addition, she received multiple distinguished ratings at the KMEA Solo and Ensemble Festival and has auditioned into the KMEA 5th District Honor Band, as well as becoming a member of the Louisville Youth Orchestra. Arden's playing received rave reviews by all who heard her during talent shows, grandparents' days, and art showcases. But Arden isn't just an instrumentalist. She also suited up as the nuns, Sister Sophia in The Sound of Music, where she sang a solo on the age-old problem of solving Maria. She then served in the stage crew for our fall play Our Town, and this year she was also cast as an abrasive Russian peasant in this year's spring play, The Government Inspector. As you can see, Arden is as comfortable on the stage as she is in the classroom, and we on the Goshen campus are the beneficiaries of her versatility. It's no surprise to hear Arden say she will miss the community of St. Francis most of all next year, especially her fellow 8th grade class members. Oh, she also said she'd miss cookie cakes. Smart girl. Arden, all of us on the Goshen campus will miss you too. Wilder Brill. When Wilder joined us as a 6th grader, he was determined to find his way in his new school community. He jumped right into opportunities to play sports, getting to know new people on the soccer, basketball, and track teams. One of his early highlights in middle school was of a sweet victory on the hardwood as Wilder helped his team secure a big win in an important 6th grade basketball tournament that first year. Steady, quiet, sometimes serious, Wilder works hard. He's an amenable explorer. One of his favorite reads in middle school was Scythe. He said it was because it was different from the type of book he was normally into as a 7th grader. His 8th grade capstone project explores the importance of our national parks. And one of his favorite memories of service work includes boxing hundreds of containers of food at Dare to Care with his classmates. It felt amazing and satisfying to Wilder, hard work in the service of others. Occasionally, his rambunctious side emerges, as Wilder recalls a couple of accidents when he got a little too spastic, a popped blood vessel in his finger during an especially heated moment of recess tetherball with Jack Christensen, or that time his pants leg caught fire at Big South Fork. Still, Wilder perseveres. In 20 years, Wilder sees himself working in his family's auto glass business. You may be in charge of it, Wilder, as your classmates voted you most likely to be a CEO. When he leaves the Goshen campus, Wilder says he will miss Chef Matt's lunches and his friends going to different high schools. You embody Wyvern pride, Wilder. You're a strong, thoughtful, steady explorer who knows how to have fun and the value of friendship. We can't wait to see what the next chapter holds for you. Livvy Caudill. Exciting, outgoing, charismatic, talented, and ambitious are qualities that perfectly describe Livvy Caudill in her 4 years spent on the Goshen campus. The first four words, exciting, outgoing, charismatic, and talented, are easy to see and live. She does not cower in fear of a spotlight. She thrives in its intense focus, a skill honed by her years as a performer. But anybody that knows Liv already knows these things about her. So let's focus on another one of her strongest characteristics, her ambition. If your dream doesn't scare you, it isn't big enough. This is actually a quote given to Mr. Berkey by Liv, and it perfectly sums up her time here at St. Francis. Liv is a dancer, and a very committed one. She spends nearly all of her time outside of the school day, summers included, chasing true perfection in her art form of ballet. For most people, this would already be challenging enough, but Liv wanted more. So on top of being a middle school student and a dancer, she managed to play field hockey for a season, run track for a season, join the cast of a musical, participate in a summer musical theater camp, be a vital part of our graduation choirs every year, audition into the KY-ACDA All-State Choir, and finish a capstone project on bipolar disorder and how it affects our society. So the logical question is, what next? Liv aspires to be a famous dancer or choreographer, and personally, we wouldn't bet against her becoming the next Bob Fosse. Liv has many fond memories of her time at St. Francis, from her performances in the Decathlon, Big South Fork, Pine Mountain, being teased by Mr. Donovan, and the chillest teacher ever, Mr. Berkey, laughing at her jokes. But what moment of her 4 whirlwind years in St. Francis Middle School will Liv miss most? She will miss seeing the younger students in the halls, giving them a hug, and realizing just how much that simple act made her days better. Liv, you made our days better, bigger, bolder, more dynamic, and more exciting. But most importantly, you've shown us all just how much one can accomplish with ambition. Maverick Caudle. Maverick flying down the ramps of the middle school wings on his leg-preserving scooter. That's the lasting and abiding image most of us will have of this free-spirited boy, seemingly impervious to barriers and inhibitions. Maverick entered St. Francis as a 5th grader, and though a gifted athlete, he managed to re-injure his limbs with regularity. His numerous injuries necessitated the use of the scooter, which became nearly synonymous with him, as Maverick used the scooter to help define his image. And at all times, he has a surfer's affect, which few would deny. In fact, he almost shares a name with a famed surf spot in California, Mavericks. And his long hair and tawny appearance seal the deal for this boy. But there's certainly more to Maverick than a sweet set of wheels. Maverick played club soccer outside of school and a lot of basketball in school. He fondly remembers participating in the WEAC Club and still feels proud about working hard with friends to pack up 680 boxes of food for Dare to Care. In class, Maverick had a way of getting things done in a roundabout way. He didn't so much think outside the box as reinvent the box and then zap it with 4D space rays. And his cool image was belied by the many deep comments he made in classroom discussions, showing a great deal of thinking was going on underneath that head of hair. He was also planning on being in the stage crew for the spring play, but those plans went awry too. On the Goshen campus, Maverick was a friend to all. He really enjoyed Senor Ponzo's advisory mornings, which gave him an opportunity to hang out with friends and maybe drink a little hot chocolate before the school day began. In 20 years, he envisions returning to his beloved Sandestin in Florida. He writes, "I would love to buy the resort and turn it back into the non-commercial place I remember." Not surprisingly, Maverick says he will miss the teachers, flexibility, and laid-back schedule of Goshen. That's pure Maverick, the boy in search of the endless summer. Mireia Cecil. Mireia is a quiet girl, her tranquil ripples riding above deeper currents. Mireia has been a stellar student at St. Francis since arriving 3 years ago. All of Mireia's teachers can attest to her ability to work with purpose, both independently and with classmates, and in typical fashion, she won a 2nd-place medal in this year's Governor's Cup writing competition. Mireia has enthusiastically participated in Miss Mushkin's NaNoWriMo project, completing novels in 3 consecutive years. The Last Locket, Carbon Copy, and The Corridor of Time. Mireia writes, "I had a lot of fun sitting on the couch in Miss Mushkin's pod on cold days during lunch and recesses to work on our books. She burned through tons of books in middle school, really enjoying Scythe, Ender's Game, The Maze Runner, Chains, The Graveyard Book, and of course, The Hunger Games." Pine Mountain Settlement School and Big South Fork were also great experiences that Mireia will remember forever. About the Big South Fork trip this past fall, Mireia writes, "One night it rained so hard the tents started filling up with water to the point where they were basically kiddie pools. All of the boys in our group had to go to Mr. Skaggs' one-person tent, and all the girls had to cram into the driest four-person tent available." In her sporting life, Mireia played tennis for the high school team and field hockey. Scoring her first goal in field hockey was a big thrill. She has really fond memories of her participation in the Goshen Drama Project as well. She acted in The Sound of Music in Our Town and would have in The Government Inspector. In addition, she attended musical theater camp in the summers and had roles in Aladdin, Legally Blonde, and Footloose. Mireia won't soon forget a mad moment at the Footloose camp. With Zack Mushkin, she chased a loose guinea hen during a lunchtime break while Charlie Ignato yelled, "Get the deep fryer! Get the deep fryer!" Though a fairly reserved person, Mireia does yearn for the comic and the absurd. She may love books with a passion, but Mireia gives credence to Bo Diddley's admonition that you can't judge a book by looking at its cover. This intelligent, talented young lady will no doubt continue to blow up assumptions and defy expectations. Jack Christensen. A political dynamo, Jack is a force of nature. He is a grizzly in a world of tiny teddy bears. There may never have been a St. Francis middle school student more attuned to American politics, international affairs, and the news cycle. Jack is such a staunch Democrat that he wore a Rachel Maddow show t-shirt to school on several occasions. A boy in a man's body, Jack has also been equally large and in charge in athletics, maintaining a commanding presence on both the athletic field and the basketball court. Jack returned to soccer this past fall and played an essential role as a central defender. Coach Mahoney was overjoyed to have a player who could truck an opponent when necessary. Jack also played 3 years of middle school basketball. Not surprisingly, he was a dominating presence in the paint, boxing out opponents and grabbing many rebounds. He's particularly proud of the moment when at the end of a game in the Our Savior Lutheran tournament, he snagged a rebound and put the ball back in for the game winner. During his 8th grade year, Jack really enjoyed reading the Civil War era novel Cold Mountain, mostly because Mr. Donovan forced Jack to produce many written drafts during the deconstruction of the novel. He credits the experience with improving his skills as a writer. Jack has never shied away from talking to adults. Whether discussing politics with Mr. Mahoney or sports brawls with Chef Matt, Jack always proclaims with confidence. For his capstone project, Jack examined the essential question, was Joseph Stalin a cold-blooded killer, a great world leader, or both? He ended up with a mixed answer, positing that Stalin was indeed a villain, but one who demonstrated some noteworthy leadership abilities. Jack has ambitions to become a politician and leader himself. He envisions one day becoming a congressman in the House of Representatives. Training horses also interests Jack. About St. Francis and his time at the school, Jack writes, "I will miss the winding hallways and the organized chaos of kids switching classes, and I'll miss the people, the students, and teachers." We will miss him too. Jack has made an indelible impression, and nobody at St. Francis will likely forget Jack or his position on issues anytime soon. Lucy Cohen. Soccer phenom Mia Hamm once said, "Good players create opportunities. The great players and the great people seize them." This statement applies to Mason Award winner Lucy Cohen, whether she's on the field, the basketball court, the stage, or in the classroom. A fierce competitor, Lucy would much rather show you what she can do than talk about it. She cleans up regularly at the middle school sports banquet, whether it's as most outstanding player or with a Wyvern Award in multiple sports every single year for 4 years. She's a leader and a scoring leader on any team she joins. Her dedication and work ethic create opportunities, and Lucy seizes them. Her academic achievement is high, as evidenced in her capstone project on Parkinson's disease, in which Lucy took an honest look at a personal topic in studying the disease her grandfather had. Lucy has an incredibly intense artistic side too. She shared her talents in last summer's musical production of Footloose. She also made a name for herself during Legally Blonde 2 summers ago, nailing the hardest and wordiest songs in that musical. And we will always remember her supreme musical performances as a drummer. She's also crafty, always coming up with new projects at home. Lucy showed great leadership, artistry, and care for her field hockey teammates by creating custom bows complete with each player's name. She's also not afraid to let her silly side show in the name of friendship. In 7th grade on Twin Day, she dressed like her 2nd grade buddy, Logan, and not many middle schoolers would do that. She cares deeply for her friends and those close to her. Caring, intensely passionate, talented, and fierce, this wyvern is definitely going places in life, creating magic for herself and others along the way. Cameron Fenwick. Cameron only attended St. Francis for one abbreviated year, but in that time he made some good friends and left quite an impression. Cameron was a member of the Black Student Association and also participated on our quick recall team this past year. He also jumped feet first into our drama project and served on the stage crew for the production of Our Town in the fall. And my recollection is that he may have set a new record for most snacks and cookies consumed backstage. And Cameron, you know what I'm talking about. And with a smile and a laugh, he remembers the time Signora Ponzio went ballistic, yelling at some unaware actors to get out of the way backstage as she and Cameron navigated the table through a tight space. It's always good to have Miss Ponzio on your side. Cameron also fondly remembers simple moments like playing basketball at recess with Maverick. Beating Maverick in hoops and getting his first victory in the Gaga pit are memories he cherishes. When asked to name the best book he read at St. Francis, Cameron couldn't come up with just one. He found a lot of great titles in the school's library and knows that Miss Serrano can vouch for that. As the year drew to a close, Cameron offered many insights into social studies discussions on the civil rights movement, impressing Mr. Mahoney, and also tried his hand as our first ever middle school virtual talent show MC alongside classmate Mia Barbercheck. While Hollywood may not be calling, he was an admirable host who even donned a tie for the occasion. It's a shame we didn't have more time to see Cameron grow and excel in the activities he chose as part of his life at St. Francis. We wish you the best of luck, Cameron, with all you do in the future, and hope you'll share your achievements with us. Avery Flynn. Avery personifies hard work and grace under pressure. She's the type of person who's never fazed by a difficult challenge and rises to the occasion even when they are unexpected. For instance, it takes true wyvern grit to suffer a concussion during a basketball game while also pouring in 18 points before the buzzer sounded. And Avery will never forget the moment she was about to go on stage during one of the Sound of Music performances and hearing her dress rip. But she remained calm and composed and flew onto the stage and danced up a storm with the Fancy Boys, aka Lachlan, Ben, and Jack. Having joined St. Francis School in the 4th grade, Avery has consistently pushed herself to always do better. The fact that Avery was awarded the Elizabeth Archibald Award as a 5th and 7th grader underscores her academic persistence. This is doubly true when it comes to athletics. As such, it is no surprise that Avery has been honored with a number of accolades, including several Most Improved Awards, notably for her efforts on the 6th grade basketball team and 7th grade field hockey team. Avery's coaches also recognized her as the most outstanding athlete during the girls' 7th grade basketball season. And to top off all of this sweat and determination, Avery was awarded a varsity letter this year for playing up on the St. Francis High School team. But in Avery's own words, it was really the memories she's made with her classmates, teammates, coaches, and teachers that are really meaningful for her. Moments like the one during Big South Fork when Avery and her watch group mates swear they heard a bear nuzzling the ground outside of her tent are golden to her. In the future, Avery sees herself shaping young minds as a basketball coach. Her love of basketball was also the driving force behind her capstone project. This was a big academic step for Avery, and she used her interest in the sport to dig deeply into the differences between how men and women play basketball. As part of this work, Avery was able to reach out to several professional coaches, including Hall of Famer Denny Crum, to get a real-life understanding of what challenges women face who want to be a part of the sport on both the collegiate and professional level. One thing is certain, Avery is ready to take up the next big challenges that face her in all arenas of life. Alex Frazier. Alex Frazier might be one of the most interesting and complex 8th graders St. Francis has ever seen. You would never know in a million years, guess that this calm, patient, observant, thoughtful, and kind human being would be prone to binge watch shows like the reality TV train wreck Dance Moms. And don't be fooled by her flip-flops or her bare toes. She stays warm throughout the seasons, wisely knowing that certain temperatures call for colorful, cozy toe socks under those flops. Alex is her own person, never one to accept easy answers to questions and instead always digging deeper. For her capstone project, she researched and analyzed the media's portrayals of autism, finding that while some portrayals in popular media are meant to be helpful and to spread autism awareness, some have perpetuated unrealistic or unhelpful stereotypes of individuals with autism. She spots post hoc ergo propter hoc fallacies immediately, clearly recognizing the complexity of causation. Alex appreciates that things are often much more complex than they may seem. That, of course, is the sign of high-level critical thinking. But this voracious reader, quiet leader, creative artist, complex problem solver, true scholar, and loyal friend also knows the value of a well-timed joke. Alex often comes forth with a zinger of a comment in the least expected times, leaving those around her laughing hysterically. We are most proud of how Alex has grown and evolved in her years on the Goshen campus. Your creativity, penchant for deep thought, and loyalty as a friend, not to mention the flip-flops, with or without socks, are going to take you very far in life, Alex. Elle Goldstein. A serious but fun-loving student, Elle came to St. Francis in 6th grade and quickly won the admiration of her teachers. Though she professes to have no great athletic ability, Elle participated in field hockey and track while at Goshen. Making jokes at recess with her friends and surviving nights in a tent at Big South Fork will be memories that she has for a long, long time. During her 8th grade year, Elle often worked on class projects with her good friend Mia Barbercheck, and together they created an excellent World War II game in social studies. When Mia ran for student council at the end of 7th grade, Elle helped her plaster the school with hot pink campaign signs. As Elle writes in the argot of her generation, they were literally posted all over the whole school. This was a very memorable day of mine at St. Francis. Elle really enjoyed working with Miss Jones in the WEAC Club. She was also on the Governor's Cup academic team, and she was really distinguished in the art room. As Mr. Taylor recalls, Elle has innate artistic talent, but what really impresses me is how hard she works on all her art projects. The minute she enters the art room, she goes straight to work in a flurry of energy and focus. Elle's cheerful, joyful presence in art class and her passion for creating and taking risks inspires everyone. As such, he was proud to recognize her with the Her Art Award on class day. For her capstone project, Elle examined an issue of great relevance and national interest, the impact of social media on today's teenagers. Elle learned a whole lot more than she expected and justifiably considers research on social media's impact to be really important. Elle also has some white picket fence dreams. In 20 years, she envisions being married and having a golden doodle dog, a breed she loves, named Tim. A self-avowed goofball, Elle recognizes her sweet side, something that is readily apparent to all who know her. She writes, "I will miss my teachers, my grade, the atmosphere of Goshen, and eating lunch with all my friends." As she enters high school, Elle will surely be guided by her bright golden doodle aspirations. Ella Gordon. Working hard while having fun is Ella's mantra. No truer words have been spoken, and it's an apt description of this young woman who is considered by classmates to be loyal, outgoing, friendly, and caring. Ella has grown immeasurably from the self-conscious 5th and 6th grader who has now blossomed into an 8th grader who is not afraid to challenge herself to push beyond what she once saw as too hard. As such, Ella is a perfect illustration of the power and strength that personal motivation and dogged perseverance can result in successes that may have seemed out of reach and/or impossible to meet once. As a result, the faculty were proud to bestow the very special Eagle Award to Ella. She has been a student at St. Francis School since 2nd grade, and during that time she has found a second home. And in large part, Ella credits her love of the school to both the teachers and classmates she has grown to know over the years. In particular, Ella will always remember the raucous math classes she had with Mrs. Wallace, where she notes that she learned a lot more than math, being a part of the WEAC Club, and lending a helping hand to Miss Serrano in keeping the library in tip-top shape. Ella has also grown into a powerhouse basketball player during her middle school years. A fixture on the basketball team since 5th grade, Ella has been a catalyst for its numerous successes. As such, It's no surprise that she has won numerous accolades for her prowess on the court, and these include the Wyvern Award in 2017, the All-League Tournament Team in 5th grade, Most Valuable Player Award 2018, and the All-League Team in 2018. Ella is also quite proud of the team's championship victory during the holiday tournament this year. And of course, the pièce de résistance is being the hot shot winner in the 2019 OSL tournament. To balance out Ella's athletic pursuits, she always has remained focused on doing the best work she can academically. A case in point is her recent capstone project, where she took a deep look into gender inequity in sports. In Ella's own words, fairness on and off the court is just as important as the game itself. Ella leaves us ready to fly under the power of her own wings, confident in both the journey ahead and her ability to land safely. Mireia Gould. Mireia Gould only spent 1 year on our Goshen campus. Even so, she still managed to leave a lasting impression. So where to begin with Mireia? First, Mireia has an uncanny ability to read others. Before someone even says a word, she can infer with shocking accuracy how that person is doing, how they are feeling, and what they are thinking. And she frequently uses this skill to be a great friend and role model to the many younger music students who look up to her, both literally and figuratively. She also earned a spot in our spring play as an old hag, definitely not typecasting, but unfortunately didn't get to showcase this nasty creation just 9 days from opening night. Mireia also works tirelessly to grow and improve. If Mireia decides she's going to learn something, she will, plain and simple. There's no stopping her, so stand aside or she'll go right through you. Mireia also has a tremendous heart, and she always puts others before herself. For example, one day Mireia was struggling and getting frustrated trying to learn a song on the piano. Mr. Berkey stopped her and asked, "Why not choose a different song?" Mia's response was simply, "Because this song is one of my mom's favorites and I want to play it for her." This is not a typical response, but then again, Mireia is not a typical 13-year-old. Finally, at the very core, Mireia is an artist and a musician, and as such, spent much of her time in the music room, which became her sanctuary. Mireia would frequently play piano, record herself, or listen to music, and this was a nearly daily occurrence. As someone who spent nearly all his time in his own school's music room, Mr. Berkey was happy to provide her a place to develop her talents and de-stress. And those talents grew immensely throughout the year. Mireia grew into a raw yet skilled piano player who developed a stronger sense of harmony. As a singer, Mireia grew into a much more powerful yet composed performer who was one of the leaders in the vocal ensemble this year. But most importantly, Mireia grew into a more confident person who finally started to believe in herself and her abilities. Mireia, continue to believe in yourself, never stop working to be the best version of yourself, and no matter what, keep singing those songs that you carry in your heart. Emma Hales. Witnessing Emma Hales' growth as she became more comfortable and confident in her years at St. Francis has been a true joy. When she arrived as a 4th grader, she wasn't quite sure what she liked or who she wanted to be, so she began exploring. Field hockey? Check. Basketball and track? Double check. Hence, her Mason Award for dedication to athletics. Drama productions? Yes, that too. A helpful, contributing member of the We Act Club? Absolutely. Emma was willing to try new things and to figure out what she enjoyed. She has fond memories of the 4th and 5th grade productions of Peter Pan in December in our town and all the fun she had getting ready for the show with her friends. And we won't forget her beautiful dancing as one of the fairies in A Midsummer Night's Dream, too. But Emma also has the drive to excel. She will listen to feedback, internalize it, work it through, and then come back to work at it again and again until she gets it right. When she made the All-State Choir in 6th grade, didn't make it the next year, but then tried again and made it in 8th grade, she demonstrated incredible perseverance. Her Most Improved Award for the 8th grade field hockey season is further proof. Emma has a strong spirit and dedication to getting things right, also evidenced in her hard work investigating the BRCA gene mutation and its connection to breast and ovarian cancer in her 8th grade capstone project. Voted by her friends as the most likely to cheer you up, Emma's teachers noticed that she is truly happy for her peers when they succeed. She's one of the first to offer a sincere compliment to a classmate. Emma says she will always remember 8th grade night for field hockey when there were tears of sadness and joy, and and that she will miss seeing her best friends every day in the halls on the Goshen campus as she goes on to 9th grade. There are new hallways to explore downtown, Emma. We can't wait to see what you achieve next. Caroline Koloff. In field hockey, midfielder is arguably the hardest position to play. Midfield players not only have to shoot, tackle, mark, dribble, and pass, but read plays accurately and take immediate action. As such, other players look to the well-rounded and hard-working midfielder for leadership and direction. In short, a good midfielder is the heart of the team. Caroline Koloff, a star St. Francis midfielder, is one such player. The embodiment of determination, drive, and heart. Caroline has been a leader since she first walked our halls as a precocious preschooler. Self-described as dependable, stubborn, smart, and sassy, oh yeah, this Wyvern lifer aims high and plays hard. This is why Caroline, who played field hockey for 8 years, basketball for 6 years, and ran track for 6 seasons too, is a Mason Award winner, also won the rare Triple Crown Athletic Award, and was the recipient of multiple Wyvern Awards for athletic excellence throughout middle school. On and off the field, Caroline has the ability to positively influence, motivate, and support others, which is why she was also voted most dependable by her peers. Known as a naturally inquisitive and dedicated student, Caroline strives for excellence in all she does. As such, her capstone on post-traumatic stress disorder and the neurological theories on how the brain reacts to trauma reflects both her deep curiosity and academic prowess. In the classroom, just like on the field, Caroline is a powerhouse. Not one to take herself too seriously, though. Caroline has embraced the fun of being a Wyvern fully. From performing on the Goshen stage in both Peter Pan in December in our town, to being chosen for the All-State Choir for 4 years, to serving her community through Dare to Care and We Day, Caroline has loved it all. The memories of Gustavo's with her teammates, 8th grade athletic nights, hanging out with her coaches before games, midnight madness, clowning around with her friends at lunch, and having her tent flooded at Big South Fork will always stay with her. And while she will miss playing sports as a Wyvern and being at the same school as her mom, like any good competitor, Caroline will use the skills, knowledge, and love she has received here as inspiration and motivation to fuel her future successes. Caroline, you certainly are the heart of this team. Julia Koloff. For 12 years, Julia has been a fixture at St. Francis. And throughout her time here, Julia made certain to take advantage of nearly every opportunity offered to her at St. Francis with a smile on her face, a fiery competitive spirit, and a true desire to excel. Traits that remained with her from preschool through 8th grade. Julia's initiative led her to become a fixture in nearly every facet of school life. She's a wonderful singer, as evidenced by being a multi-year member of the KYACDA All-State Choir, where her effortless artistry represented herself and the larger community in a wonderful light. She was a member of several drama productions through the years. She especially remembers her Marilyn Monroe wig in Anything Goes, and she's been a fixture of the annual graduation choir. Julia is also a talented athlete who is an important member of the track, basketball, and field hockey teams. In fact, Julia spent a combined 20 seasons on those teams. Is that even possible? With a career this long, she naturally took home several athletic honors, including both the Wyvern Award and Most Outstanding in field hockey, despite repeatedly hitting Coach Kelly with the ball during field hockey practices. And she was recognized as a Mason Award winner and one of only 2 Triple Crown winners, an honor she's happy to share with her sister. But the stage and the field don't tell the complete story. Julia excelled in the classroom, and for her capstone project, she tackled the complicated subject matter of phobias and phobic behavior simply because she wanted to better understand herself. It is this intellectual curiosity that will serve Julia well in her long-term goal of going to medical school. St. Francis will miss you, Julia Koloff. We will miss seeing you on the field, the track, and the court. We will miss seeing you on the stage, and we'll miss hearing you sing. But most importantly, we will miss your impish sense of humor, which you use daily to bring a smile to the face of others. We will miss your caring demeanor, evidenced by your commitment to raising money for St. Baldrick's through the years, hence the wig. And finally, St. Francis will miss your friendly and sunny disposition, which was a wonderful example to all over your 12 remarkable years as a Wyvern. Sam LeMay. Kentucky writer, scholar, and farmer Wendell Berry once said, "We have the world to live in on the condition that we will take good care of it. And to take good care of it, we have to know it. And to know it, and to be willing to take care of it, we have to love it." Young people like Sam LeMay seem to be in on this secret. Sam is always willing to lend a hand to help take care of anything. A compassionate soul with a heart of gold, voted most outgoing by his peers, Sam is truly a friend to all. Need a sturdy lifter to help set up for Grandparents' Day? Sam's there. Need a hand troubleshooting anything tech-related? Sam's your guy. Sam has incredible knowledge about raising livestock and studying the rocks, minerals, and insects in our area too. He's been an active and grand champion prize-winning member of the Washington County 4-H Club for many years, having several of his projects go on to the Indiana State Fair. And what you might not realize about Sam, though, is how he has worked so hard to overcome some things. In his early middle school years, Sam's temper would sometimes get the best of him, but Sam always worked to make amends when he lost his cool. Sam also worked tremendously hard, modeling incredible courage and vulnerability to work to overcome stuttering. For his capstone project, Sam took an honest and powerful look at this very personal topic. This same confidence and work ethic led him onto the stage too. Sam was really looking forward to his first foray into the St. Francis Drama Project as a stagehand and the government inspector this spring. He came to rehearsals early when he wasn't even called, and he even wrangled himself a spot on stage as AJ's henchman as a Russian policeman. They were quite the inept duo, but effective in getting laughs. Sam reported he was excited to go on stage, but nervous, and we know he was getting ready to knock it out of the park. We are thankful for Sam's contributions to the school throughout his middle school years, whether on the track team, the soccer team, the choir, or in the classroom. In 20 years, Sam says he sees himself working on his dreams and goals. We know you'll take care of it, Sam. You're already on your way. Isaac Levitch. When you see Isaac Levitch walking down the halls between classes, multiple lower school students run up to him, give him leg hugs, and beg for piggyback rides, their eyes shining brightly and smiles beaming across their faces. Isaac then tousles their hair, offers a smile or a joke or a kind word, and he nudges them along their way. Given the depth of these witnessed connections, you would never know that Isaac Levitch was a new student to St. Francis this year. It wasn't long into the school year when Isaac's warm, friendly demeanor earned him a certain nickname among adults, the Mayor of St. Francis. Isaac jumped right into student life, joining the soccer and basketball teams. Isaac demonstrated the kind of sportsmanship that earned him a Newcomer Award for his basketball season and a Mason Award for his overall contributions to Wyvern athletics. A favorite 8th grade memory of his included the basketball team's big win at the Our Savior Lutheran Tournament Championship, the premier basketball tournament for independent schools in Louisville. Isaac also enjoyed his work on the Capstone Project, a deep look into one of his passions, the history of rock and roll. Other special memories involved his friends, like the time he and Jackson got lost for a few minutes on the trail of Big South Fork. Isaac said that one was a little scary, actually. But he found peace in other times, in small moments, like talking with friends on bus rides to and from school. Overall, it's the warmth of the St. Francis community that Isaac loves most about his 8th grade year. He writes that his favorite thing about being a student here is his relationships with his teachers, how friendly they are and how they don't act like they're superior. Isaac goes on, "I'm grateful. I feel I have a voice here and that the teachers listen." We've loved hearing your voice, Isaac, and we know that the life lessons of teamwork, cooperation, and sportsmanship, along with the courage to keep growing and showing up for yourself, will make all the difference. Ben Mano. Ben Mano has had 9 wonderful years at St. Francis and has grown from a short little kindergartner into a tall, confident Mano. Sorry, Ben, I had to do it. And Ben has spread joy among his classmates and teachers every step along the way. Seemingly always smiling, Ben is one of the few fortunate souls who seems to go through life in a good mood. And this gentle, easygoing spirit is certainly contagious. But Ben is a mix of many unique qualities. When asked to list the sports he played at St. Francis, Ben self-deprecatingly declared, "I've never played a sport in my life." When asked to describe himself, he chose the paradoxical adjectives fun and logical. Mr. Spock would be half amused. And for his capstone project, Ben chose the heady topic of price inflation. One of his takeaways was just how complicated trying to comprehend economics turned out to be. Welcome to the club, Ben. And this drive for understanding has characterized Ben's academic path at St. Francis. A fixture on the effort honor roll, Ben has had an absolutely stellar 8th grade year, earning A's and A+ grades galore, including in geometry, which will accelerate his math placement in high school substantially. As a result of this phenomenal year, Ben was awarded the Frank Casey Academic Award. And Ben also discovered a love for drama at St. Francis and became a fixture on our stage beginning in 6th grade. Blessed with a wonderful sense of physical comedy, Ben has played largely comic roles, highlighted by his take on the acerbic Speed in Neil Simon's The Odd Couple, and the corrupt and foolish mayor in this spring's postponed The Government Inspector, a memory Ben hopes to eradicate. But he showed his sensitive side and versatility as a hard-working father in this fall's Our Town, too. Ben has a way of channeling the legendary Dick Van Dyke in his portrayals and is a deserving winner of a drama award as well. But to bring this tribute full circle, it is Ben's nature, his calm, his affability that led the faculty to proudly award him the Spirit of St. Francis Award as well. That is one impressive 8th grade year, but Ben Mano is one impressive young man who we know will make us and his family proud. Ryan Marks. Baseball Hall of Famer Joe DiMaggio once said, "A person always doing his or her best becomes a natural leader just by example." As we've all witnessed over the past 9 years, Ryan Marks has become such a leader. This Mason Award winner, who was voted most athletic by his peers, is certainly a standout on the fields and courts. As 8 years of basketball and 5 years of baseball have undoubtedly proven, Ryan's athletic ability and prowess are beyond comparison. With immense natural talent and quiet confidence, Ryan led numerous championship teams to victory, winning MVP awards in both basketball and baseball multiple years during middle school for his efforts. What's more, Ryan was named to the All-Tournament team for basketball 3 years in a row, both because of his ability and his leadership on the court. Anyone who's watched Ryan take the mound or step on the court can attest to the fact that he embodies the qualities of a natural leader. He's calm, collected, inspirational, and above all, humble. And like the greats, his perseverance and drive extend beyond athletics. Dedicated and hardworking, Ryan is quick to accept challenges in all arenas. For example, Ryan didn't shy away from tackling the serious topic of Parkinson's disease for his capstone project because he wanted to share current research and available treatments with sufferers. Self-described as funny, athletic, and loud, Ryan's easygoing personality and playful demeanor also make him immensely likable and somebody peers naturally gravitate towards. Ryan has the admirable ability to live in the moment and savor the small things. In fact, he will always remember his teammates celebrating their first basketball championship, bunking with Mr. Skaggs, Zach, Maverick, and Jack in a 2-person tent after his tent flooded at Big South Fork, going to Wee Day, and recess antics too numerous to recount. Ryan's charisma, kindness, and joviality are traits we treasure. This aspiring Major League Baseball player has truly led by example while at St. Francis, and in always giving his best, has already become the natural leader Joe DiMaggio championed. Caroline McKiernan. Caroline McKiernan describes herself as an activist, powerful, strong, intelligent, and worthy. And even though she only joined us at St. Francis for her 7th and 8th grade years, she proved these words to be accurate beyond measure. Caroline is an activist who is passionate about a great many subjects, fights for what she believes in, and works tirelessly to help others. This is evidenced by her recounting the time her grade helped feed over 600 needy seniors through the Dare to Care organization. Caroline is powerful in ways beyond just physical strength. The fact that 2 of her favorite memories were going to basketball games to cheer on her friends and enjoying seeing previews of the various drama productions while here on campus points that out. That might not seem powerful to an outsider, but there's true power in the support of others. And Caroline understands that principle. No matter what, Caroline is an ally to anybody who needs one. She is also quick-witted. When asked where she sees herself in 20 years, she replied, about 34 years old. But there's much more to that story. Caroline's strength of character leaps forth with the rest of the answer when she adds that she wants to be a medical school graduate, specifically a surgeon, and her biggest career goal is to be able to provide medical care for those who cannot afford it. That speaks to the true essence of what drives Caroline. A sharp student, she speaks eloquently about a number of topics, asks insightful questions, and possesses a rare ability to reflect upon experiences and learn from them. She also reads people exceptionally well and knows what to say to help out a friend. And finally, we arrive at the last word Caroline used to describe herself, worthy. And we agree with that assessment wholeheartedly. We're so glad you were able to spend 2 years with us on the Goshen campus, Caroline. Zack Mushkin. Zack Mushkin came to St. Francis in his 5th grade year as a package deal with his big sister in tow and, of course, his fabulous mother. And what a wonderful package that has turned out to be. An incoming math and science merit scholar winner, Zack assimilated quickly into Wyvern culture and has tried his hand, or toes, in about everything St. Francis has to offer. He spent 3 campaigns on our quick recall team, including 1 runner-up performance and fittingly 3 sportsmanship awards. He also spent many November days writing outside of class time as he penned not 1, but 2 NaNoWriMo novels that were, in fact, a superhero series. Zack also jumped headfirst into athletics this year, going out for the basketball team, where he earned a newcomer award at our recent sports banquet. He was also set to run track before our season unfortunately came to a premature end. And his classmates also demonstrated their trust in Zack by voting him a student council officer for his 8th grade year, where he only missed a few meetings due to playing football at recess. But Zack really made his mark in the SFS drama project beginning as a 5th grader as he showed off his tap dancing skills as a very fresh-faced young sailor in Anything Goes. He also appeared in A Midsummer Night's Dream, honed his poker-playing ability as the hen-pecked Vinny in The Odd Couple, played a young Nazi soldier in The Sound of Music, and was Howie the Milkman in this fall's Our Town with a wonderfully accurate New England accent. That accent morphed into a Russian accent this spring as the corrupt judge in The Government Inspector, but Zack's court date has been sadly delayed. One of Zack's favorite moments from drama was on the old male high school stage when he had to sing a love song to Molly Wagner while riding a bike on stage and very nearly wrote it right off the front of the stage, giving a certain director a few premature gray hairs in the process. For his devotion to our drama program, Zack was a shoo-in for an Ed Gupton Drama Award. And speaking of shoes, Zack was also voted most likely to cheer you up by his classmates, leaving us with the mysterious nickname Toes, which is ironic, as Zack has fit into the St. Francis family more like a glove. And we will miss him heads, shoulders, knees, and yes, toes. Allie Rahman. When describing herself, Allie stated, "People who don't know me think I am quiet. People who do know me wish I was." Only half of this statement is true. When people first meet Allie, most do assume that she is quiet, but they soon discover that she has a lot of interesting things to say. She is thoughtful about the spoken word, so much so that she often sprinkles her conversations with puns. She's never sheepish about these interjections either, although some of them are pretty bad. I didn't write them. Allie was delighted to discover through research for her capstone project about dream interpretation and its effectiveness that puns were a part of dream interpretation in ancient Egypt. She's definitely an energizer punny in the department of wordplay. But Allie is strong academically too. She was a finalist in both 5th and 8th grade merit scholar competitions. She was a valued member of successful lower and middle school quick recall teams and a medalist in arts and humanities academic competition. In 7th and 8th grade, she published 2 NaNoWriMo books, Ridges on Cliffs and Fingers Crossed. For Allie's creative talent and skill as an artist, she was awarded the Her Art Award. She also received the Gupton Drama Award for her commitment to the drama program, working her way up from crew member for her 4th and 5th grade plays to courageously auditioning for a role in the middle school production of Anything Goes in the 5th grade, although she didn't get a part then, she chose to contribute to the play's success by painting sets. In successive years, she did get the parts, playing a fairy in A Midsummer Night's Dream, Frau Schmidt in The Sound of Music, Mary Craig in Our Town, and was looking forward to her madcap role as the school principal in the spring production of The Government Inspector. Allie's also been a dedicated member of many sports teams. She played soccer in lower school, basketball in 4th, 6th, and 7th grades, and ran track for 5 years. She played field hockey from 3rd to 8th grade and was recognized twice with Most Improved Awards. For this dedication to athletics too, she was honored with the Mason Award for her sportsmanship and enthusiasm in athletic competition. Allie, voted most dependable by her classmates, has been a St. Francis student since she was a 3-year-old preschooler. 9 years have passed, and she says she will miss everything about being here when she moves on to high school. We will miss her too, and that's no joke. Elle Rife. Lots of raucous laughter, deep conversation, a little quiet time, and good friends are the ingredients that have helped to nourish Ella from day one as a first grader at St. Francis School all the way through to her memorable 8th grade year. Ella, at least initially, may appear to be the shy and quiet type, but once you get to know her, this illusion quickly fades. As such, it's no surprise that Ella has enjoyed bounding across the stage and performing in productions that run the gamut of theater at St. Francis, from lower school to summer camp shows to middle school. These have included roles in Peter Pan, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Legally Blonde, and The Sound of Music. In fact, one of Ella's favorite memories of all time is the tremendous amount of fun she had playing Tinkerbell to Mae Wilson's Peter Pan. Ella's energy and zeal for working hard has also been on constant display as a Wyvern athlete. During 3rd and 4th grade, Ella participated on the school track team. And as she moved into the middle school, Ella branched out and started to play with the basketball team. In fact, she was honored with being named the most improved in the basketball team as a 5th grader. Ella's proudest moments occurred with the field hockey team, though. For Ella, the experiences she had with her field hockey crew were unforgettable and were a high water mark for the year. Chief among the peaks this season were after-game dinner meetups at Gustavo's, the tie with arch-nemesis Kammerer, and team talks with Coach Kelly. Ella's drive to succeed and push her own boundaries of growth also includes a healthy dose of empathy for the struggles of other people face in life. In all pursuits, academic or athletic, Ella is fully giving of herself and aware that her positive frame of mind can have a direct impact on those around her. And given Ella's natural sense of empathy, it also makes sense that she chose to research the destructive impact of drug and alcohol abuse during pregnancy for her recent capstone project. This is an issue and topic that is near and dear to her heart because of her mother's work with women's shelters in Louisville. A committed student council officer in her 8th grade year, Ella's big heart, contagious laugh, and boundless energy to burn are more than ready to take on whatever the future holds. Jack Scantlin. And before I start Jack Scantlin, I think I said in the beginning that students give us their own page of information to help us write. And generally these are a page long, maybe a page and a half. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Scantlin has set a new world record. His blurb seeds were 14 pages, including pictures. So Jack, you get the prize. Jack Scantlin. Where to begin? Jack Scantlin made his debut at St. Francis as a 3-year-old in Mr. David's class, and we would never be the same. For Jack has left his inimitable mark in almost every way imaginable. He played soccer every year since kindergarten, including earning a Most Improved Award in 6th grade. And academically, Jack has been simply tenacious. An effort honor roll staple, Jack also tried his hand at both the Kentucky World Language Showcase in 6th grade and Quiz Bowl in 8th grade. He also loves to write and has been a NaNoWriMo author 3 years in a row. And not content with that, Jack has coined a new acronym, NAQUAWRITI, which stands for National Quarantine Writing Time, and is currently working on not one, but a 3-novel trilogy during remote learning. For it is creativity that drives Jack most. In addition to writing, Jack also loves to sing and belonged to our after-school vocal ensemble and was also selected for the KYACDA All-State Choir this year. And in Jack's own witty words, after playing Captain Hook In Peter Pan as a fourth grader, he was admittedly and hopelessly hooked on theater. Good, Jack. And Jack has been one of our drama project linchpins, with highlights including playing Felix Unger in The Odd Couple, for which he was nominated for a National Youth Arts Lead Actor Award, and having a lead role in the first ever production on our new stage in Our Town this fall. He also displayed his villainous chops as the Nazi in The Sound of Music, and was the dastardly mayor in this spring's The Government Inspector, which unfortunately was another victim of this year's pandemic. When asked about his memories of his time in drama here, he replied, "There's so much nostalgia in every second of them." That type of passion and appreciation explains why Jack received a Gupton Drama Award. Jack's drive also led him to being named a student council officer for 8th grade, and he was also dubbed most outgoing by his classmates. This combination of academics, athletics, passion for creativity, and appreciation for his school and others explains why Jack Scantlin is also a thoroughly deserving Head of School Award winner as well. And after completing his 14-page blurb seeds opus, Jack titled the document, "This Made Me Cry." And we shed a tear as well, as we wish this incredible young man the best as he embarks on new chapters, performances, and accomplishments at our high school downtown. Simone Schreiber. Simone has been a St. Francis Wyvern for 5 years. When she first started attending school on the Goshen campus, she was a wide-eyed fourth grader who loved animals and always wore a big, brightly colored hair bow. Hair bows and the sideways ponytails were her signature look for a couple of years, and then they suddenly disappeared as the somewhat shy lower school student grew into a much more confident young teen. Self-described as trendy, funny, and random, Simone has a knack for making people laugh, and her smile is contagious. Simone values her friendships and social interactions, and she centered her capstone project on the essential question, how does social media affect you in your everyday life? She is alert to positive influences and finding the good in a situation, so it is not surprising to learn that her favorite book is Wonder, because it inspired her greatly. As Simone has grown through her middle school years, she has explored different activities with her own sense of wonder. She was a member of the We Act Club, and one of her most memorable experiences during middle school was attending We Day, a celebration of social good. Simone participated in a variety of sports throughout her school years. She played field hockey in 4th, 5th, and 6th grades, basketball in 5th, and tennis in the 7th grade, a sport she had planned to continue during her 8th grade year. After taking part in productions of Peter Pan in the 4th grade and Christmas in Our Town in the 5th grade, she returned to the theater as a valuable member of the stage crew for Our Town during 8th grade. It is apparent that Simone is on an enchanting journey of self-discovery that assuredly will become only more promising with the opportunities that lie ahead for her in high school. May Scott. May Scott came to St. Francis this year, and despite the challenges of being a brand new 8th grader, May quickly found her place, which was often at the side of her best friend Liv. Most of May's favorite memories of St. Francis are of the times she and Liv spent together, whether making TikTok videos or engaging in recess conversations with Mr. Berkey. To round out her year, May's capstone project on the legalization of marijuana digs into a topic that will be discussed and debated for years to come. But May is more than the new kid. If you've only seen May at recess or in a classroom, then you only know a small part of her story. In order to get a complete picture, one simply has to see May on the ice. May, an accomplished and talented figure skater, performs with incredible strength and grace, evidence of a work ethic and perseverance that is inspiring to witness. May is a competitive skater, and she was often a critical part of her team's success. To take on this role, she toughed out a brutal schedule on top of the rigors of being an 8th grader. Although she might not have loved every second of this routine, she nonetheless continued to work tirelessly at her craft. This dedication was rewarded with a solo in this year's annual Nutcracker on Ice, which May executed beautifully every single performance. Audiences most definitely left singing May's praises. We will certainly miss May on the Goshen campus, but we know that May will take her strength, work ethic, perseverance, and grace with her as she pirouettes on to high school. Keyshawn Scruggs. Keyshawn joined the 8th grade class in January this year, but he quickly found himself a home at St. Francis School. Moving from one school to another is always a difficult move. A new environment, schedules to figure out, brand new teachers to get used to working with, and of course, finding out where you fit in with groups of classmates who already know each other can, for most people, seem like trying to scale Mount Everest. But Keyshawn is no ordinary person, and his superpower is being at ease with himself and finding comfort in knowing that everything will work out for the best at the end of each day. So, with a smile and a fun-loving attitude, Keyshawn made the hard work of forging new connections with the people and places that define the Goshen campus look easy. Part of this happened on the basketball court, which is a true passion of Keyshawn's. He credits Larry Bird's biography as being a really inspirational read for him. Now, you do know he was a Hoosier, right, Keyshawn? Had to get that in. Here are some quotes from Coach Skaggs on Keyshawn. High energy doesn't begin to describe Keyshawn and his unmatched exuberance. His intensity on the court led to some of the most exciting layups this season, and perhaps a turnover or two along the way. One thing is certain about Keyshawn, he's a joy to be around. If you spent any time with him, you'd know that his laugh is infectious. His jovial spirit uplifted the team during some of the season's most difficult times. Likewise, it was fitting that Keyshawn's capstone project considered the meaning of perseverance and how successful athletes are able to rise above difficult and challenging situations in their lives to attain stellar achievements both on and off the field. If we could all take a page from Keyshawn's book on how to have joy for living in the moment, the world would be a much happier and relaxed place. We're only sorry we didn't get to experience more of Keyshawn's demeanor sooner. Anna Smith. Anna is the kind of person who always sees the glass half full. From her initial moments at St. Francis as a fifth grader, her enthusiasm for life and her optimistic view were readily apparent. Anna's determination to do her best resulted in an Effort Honor Roll award that first year. Fast forward to 8th grade, and Anna's resolve to work hard and make the best of things is evident in her recollection of the Big South Fork trip, during which she and all of her belongings were soaked in a rainstorm. Anna admits she was miserable for the rest of the trip, but somehow survived, and she doesn't regret 1 second of the experience because of all that she learned. Anna tries to look at the bright side in most situations and noted how receiving the Most Improved Award for her efforts in track and field motivates her to be all that she can be every day. In fact, she won the Mason Award for her dedication to participating in field hockey for all 4 years at St. Francis, track and field during 7th and 8th grades, and basketball in 8th grade. Anna was a dedicated member of the We Act Club for 3 years and says of that experience helping others, "I loved every second of it." She's a young person with a heart for service, and she loves animals too. She frequently volunteer experience to care for the Goshen chickens, and she also cares for a menagerie of chickens, pet rabbits, a dog, and a turtle named Peppermint at her own home. As Anna moves on to high school, she will miss the art and positive messages posted in the colorful hallways of the Goshen campus, miss Betty's smiles, and the time that her teachers spent helping her in the best way that they can. Most of all, she will miss her friends. Anna believes that she's a better person for having attended St. Francis. We're so glad she did, and the feeling is undoubtedly mutual. A.J. Stevenson. Now, I'm going to tell a little story about A.J. Stevenson before I start, because I met A.J. Stevenson before he ever set foot at this school, because he had an older sister who was in 8th grade in my math class, and I taught her the quadratic formula, and she came to me at the start of class and said, "I want to show you something." And she held up her phone and said, "This is a video of my little brother reciting the quadratic formula." And I go, "How old is he?" And she said, "He's not in kindergarten yet." And she hit play, and this little bitty boy looks at me and goes, "X equals negative b plus or minus radical b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that is how I met A.J. Stevenson. And now we've had all these years with A.J., and what an introduction. A.J. Stevenson. A.J. Stevenson has been an eager beaver and a curious St. Francis wyvern for a full dozen years. And in that impressive span of time, it is estimated that he has asked his teachers, coaches, and directors approximately 43,200 questions. And yes, I did the math. I knew AJ would check up on me. But this just serves to point out the insatiable appetite AJ has for knowledge, which he has channeled into some impressive accomplishments. The LeBron James of our quick recall teams, AJ's statistics read like this. 5th grade, first place in science and social studies at districts, and first place in social studies, second place science at regionals. 6th grade, the repeat science and social studies champion at districts. 7th grade, why not make it a three-peat in science and social studies at districts? And in 8th grade, he made it a perfect 4-year sweep for first place in social studies, but shockingly slipped to 3rd in science. But he made up for it by helping to lead our quick recall team to first place. And while this is deservedly impressive, it's just as fun to watch AJ in action in a red-blue quiz bowl in the middle school amp when his teammates break into the ever-present chant of AJ, AJ, AJ when faced with a difficult question. The judges had to regretfully assign him term limits of sorts. But AJ is more than just an academic whiz-bang. He also enjoyed being on stage, starting with one line in A Midsummer Night's Dream, singing and dancing in The Sound of Music, and then found his niche playing policeman in both 8th grade productions. His faithful devotion to our drama project earned him an Ed Gupton Drama Award. And AJ also gave plenty of sweat and toil to our athletic teams, playing baseball 2 years, basketball for 5, and 8 straight years of soccer, culminating with his steady presence as the team goalie in 7th and 8th grade, and I bet he asked the refs a few questions too. AJ's menu is a tantalizing smorgasbord of Merit Scholar winner, Dungeons and Dragons devotee, Harry Potter fan, 3-point shot contest winner at our March Madness dance, and eternal quizzical student. I suspect he will never get all his questions answered, but in finding those answers for himself, he'll probably live up to his classmates' prediction as most likely to succeed. Now, if we can only get him on Jeopardy. Mireia Stevenson. Mireia, like her twin brother AJ, has been at St. Francis for 12 years, and she wanted me to state for the record that they are not identical twins, so that clears up that confusion. But like her brother, Mireia has left an indelible mark on St. Francis, and she won't soon be forgotten. Mireia, like a pearl in an oyster, is one of those rare students who seems to excel at everything she tries, and yet does it all in such an effortless way, it inspires others. But what is most important is that she possesses and exudes such a calm and kind personality and grace while achieving such a luster. To recap, Mireia was the overall Merit Scholar winner in 5th grade and earned another Merit Scholar this year for 9th grade. Her academics are highlighted by numerous top 5 finishes for the quick recall team, with her specialties being language arts and math. In her 8th grade year, she was at the top of the class, earning her the Frank Casey Academic Award. Athletically, Mireia competed in both basketball and track over the years, but focused primarily on field hockey for 8 straight seasons. She's especially proud of being the team goalie and posting a 0-0 tie with Kammerer with many clutch saves. When she wrote her blurb seeds, she cryptically wrote that she had never won any sports awards, but the banquet hasn't happened yet. And there, she was awarded the Team Most Valuable Player Award for her 8th grade year. And in drama, Mireia continually developed as an actress and performed in 6 of the main 8 productions in her middle school years. By 8th grade, she earned 2 lead roles and was very convincing as a haggard mother in Our Town, especially in the eerie cemetery scene, and then was cast as the conniving and flirtatious mayor's wife in The Government Inspector. One of the cast's favorite jokes was just how much abuse could Mireia endure from both Jack and Lachlan. Her love of theater earned her a drama award to add to her growing collection. And when you also add in being selected for the All-State Choir 3 years, writing NaNoWriMo novels for 2, and being in our vocal ensemble, the riches just begin to border on the embarrassing. And that is why she was a clear faculty choice for the Head of School Award. But no matter the prizes or accolades, Mireia remains modest and kind. Voted most likely to succeed by her peers, they also described her as smart, loyal, dedicated, compassionate, and selfless. Mireia Stevenson is simply a diamond among pearls. Esme Vaughn. The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. This quote by Dolly Parton gets to the heart of the person Esme is growing into. A weather system of contradictions, at times silly and goofy, while at others serious and driven, Esme is always full of energy and ready to seize the moment. Esme joined the Wyvern ranks in 6th grade, and she's been a stalwart on a number of the school's athletic teams. Esme played in the basketball team for 3 years and ran track for 2 years, but her most memorable moments took place with the field hockey team, which she's played on for the last 3 years. Esme simply loved being a part of the team. The team rave up before a match. Singing in unison still rings in her ears. In a serious and reflective moment after the team's last game together, Esme was amazed at the bonds they had formed through hard work and dedication. And her commitment was rewarded with the Mason Award. And then, of course, there are the lighter moments, like when Esme, after a field hockey game, excitedly ran across the play shelter in her cleats and dramatically tripped. Always a good sport, Esme's bumble became known as the Fall of 2016 among her friends. And beyond the fields and teams, Esme has loved being a part of the WEAC Club and the Black Student Association. Both of these groups gave her the opportunity to make new friends and learn about other people in ways that she otherwise would not have had the opportunity to experience. And of course, Esme loved the adventures she had during the school outdoor trips. And during Big South Fork, Esme will never forget taking a wrong turn and getting lost for a few minutes, and then the loud welcome back she received home from her watch group when she made it back to camp. Again, for Esme, these moments put the spotlight on accepting both the rain and the rainbow without complaint. Finally, Esme's capstone project focused on a deep look into the fashion industry and the life of Alexander McQueen. In fact, in the future, Esme hopes to be working in the fashion world as a designer. But of course, for Esme, the heartbeat of everything for her has been around her friends and teachers. And as Esme designs her own future, the fabric of these relationships will be the foundation for all the success she is sure to achieve. Mae Wilson. Thoughtful, brash, loud, and lanky, Mae Wilson is not afraid to fully inhabit her striking personality. Full of joie de vivre, Mae loves to offer her opinions on all ranges of topics, from politics and the latest hot TikTok to her love for the school's lunches. Mae is also one who leads by example. Leading the charge for class service projects highlights her ability to rally people around a common cause. On the other hand, Mae is also an empathetic person willing to always lend an ear to her friends and classmates. As such, it is no wonder that the middle school faculty recently honored Mae with the Spirit of St. Francis Award, because she's a person who clearly exemplifies the school's values and whose conduct, in the words of St. Francis, lights the day for others. Mae, having been at St. Francis for 11 years, has literally grown up on the Goshen campus. And of course, during this time, Mae has been busy learning and making memories. Chief among Mae's highlight reel of the opportunities she got to perform in the lower school production of Peter Pan and the summer camp musical Legally Blonde. And of course, she will never forget the tornado drill that took the steam out of a Legally Blonde play rehearsal. Mae has also enjoyed playing on both the basketball and field hockey teams. Ever self-effacing, Mae readily admits that she's not a hotshot when it comes to playing hoops, but she was over the moon with joy this year when she was able to knock down 10 points in a single game after scoring only 4 points all last season. And in Mae's words, the team too was super hype over her achievement on the court. Mae will also never forget her Big South Fork backpacking trip this past fall. The trip was admittedly difficult for Mae, but she really enjoyed hanging in the back of the pack with Miss Brown and Mr. Donovan telling stories to pass the time. Finally, Mae's capstone project on nicotine addiction gave her deeper insight into the long-term effects this drug can have on tobacco users. Mae looks to the future with bright eyes, a wry sense of humor, and a firm knowledge that she will make a difference in the lives of others, no matter what the future holds. Jackson Wood. Jackson has always been a tall tree in his class. Although he's retained a little bit of his sardonic bite, Jackson has matured so much in these past few years. He's grown into a young man. Jackson played on many athletic teams during his days at Goshen and was an important part of the soccer team this past year. He may not have always been happy about playing defender, but on the famed backline of Jack, and Jackson, he was an essential last man, stopping many an attack by the opposition. He was also named Most Improved in Basketball at our recent sports banquet, and with his multi-year contributions to both our basketball and track teams, Jackson was a very deserving winner of the Mason Award on class day. In class, he often worked with his friend Isaac Levitch. They were not always angels, But when they put their mind to it, they produced some nice projects in social studies, like a game about World War II, for instance. Jackson is also quite the Star Wars aficionado. For his capstone project, he researched the history of George Lucas's famed and monumental franchise. Jackson credits the Star Wars films with having a massive impact on his life, shaping the ways he sees the world. And academically, he's definitely felt the Force. Jackson consistently earned high marks in middle school while quietly going about the business of affirming his critical skills and prowess as a student. On the lighter side, Jackson caught the Gaga bug at some point. A game he became familiar with at summer camp. He was a guest presenter at student council meetings and was instrumental in moving along the process of getting a permanent Gaga pit for the middle school. This, in fact, turned into their class gift for 2020 and the only one that showed up during the current year instead of over the summer months. Jackson approved heartily and held court in the Gaga pit at many recesses. He is slowly turning into a leader, and wherever he goes in the future, he's sure to stand tall and stand out. And everyone, at this point, if we were together in person, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2020, and they would stand and you all would applaud like crazy. So do it at home, do it in your hearts, do it in the chat, however you wish. This is a phenomenal group of kids that we've all loved working with. It's been our pleasure to present these blurbs on them on class day. And I want to thank a few people. That is like a kind of a short little novel that we just heard, and for helping me to write. I would like to thank Mr. Donovan, Mr. Mahoney, Ms. Jones, Mr. Berkey, Ms. Mushkin, and Ms. Adkins. And I would also like to thank Ms. Betty, who, unbeknownst to you, is standing in front of me filming this for quite a long period of time. It takes a group effort. We hope you've enjoyed them as much as we've enjoyed working with this incredible group of 8th graders. Thank you all so very much.